Welcome to Property Nomads. If you're going away for the summer holidays, there might be more travel chaos this year. I was speaking to someone the other day, and I'm really starting to struggle to understand how anything actually gets done in this country. We've got most of the public sector complaining about not having good wage increases, although an offer's been put out recently, I think between 5 and 7%, which, yes, is slightly lower than what the inflation rate is at the time of recording this video. And people have thrown their toys out the pram at that. We've got inflation figures that say that are still quite high, Bank of England increasing interest rates, and all this is just bubbling away underneath the surface. And people, I think, are becoming angrier and angrier and basically more discontent with life in general. Also, it doesn't help, when you get people, organizations like Just Stop Oil, that seem intent on just completely wreaking havoc with people's day-to-day lives. And again, I think the level of, not hatred, the level of dislike is certainly going up. But also, I think people's tolerance for BS at the moment is getting thinner, a lot thinner by the minute, a lot thinner by the day. And now with unions, by the way, should we even have unions in the first place? Probably a different conversation, different podcast. Will there be more travel chaos this year in the summer holidays? So basically, we got more people on strike. The RMT, so a lot of the rail people, they've been striking for a while. They've got more strikes coming up in due course. And now baggage handlers and airport staff, airport check-in staff, etc. They're striking as well. And if you're going away for the summer holidays and it's the one time of the year that you have your family holiday or whatever it might be, to then have that put into jeopardy by unions and people striking, again, your tolerance level is probably going to be very, very, very low and thinning day by day. Now, of course, the aim is to provide disruption. I've always said with unions and striking that if you're doing it to set out and achieve a purpose, then yeah, okay, but there's only so much people will take. And secondly, if you do it too much, people will start to, it will start to affect your job. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, let's just have a look at the rail industry quickly. So they're pretty much always on strike over God knows what. And although numbers are coming back after the pandemic, what's happening is that companies need to make a profit. The whole system's screwed anyway, but companies need to make a profit. People are starting to come back to rail a little bit, but the numbers are not as good as they were a few years ago. So what does that mean? Well, it means you probably need less staff. And of course, if you're then striking all the time and people aren't able to use the railway, even though they might rely on the railway, these same people might go to other alternative transport methods. Maybe they might go and use the bus instead. Maybe they might buy a car. Maybe they will get a taxi, whatever it is. So that affects demand anyway. So if you're striking on the railways and then you're wondering why demand's gone down, it's because you're striking so much that the railways have become so inconsistent and not reliable that people won't use them. It might be a similar thing with airports here, maybe. People do love to get away, but we're also seeing numbers of staycations in the UK increasing as well. So be careful what you wish for. Obviously, we're on the BBC article here, so they might take a slightly biased approach. But they do note here, last summer, demand for travel roared back after travel restrictions were eased. Restrictions that shouldn't have been in there in the first place. But the challenge is airports and airlines have made cuts during the pandemic and struggled to recruit staff quickly enough. Well, yes, this is why any form of lockdown and whatnot is just counterproductive in more ways than one. Now, depending on what airline you fly with, I've done this before. I'm not always the biggest advocate of technology, as you know from listening to the channel, but being able to check in, if I'm flying with someone like BA, being able to check in, check your own bag in, is actually quite a straightforward thing to do. I don't mind doing it, to be honest. And with one of these up-to-date passports as well, it's a very simple process, I find. But I understand there are people out there that do like speaking to people that will need a helping hand. But the key thing is the union is striking, which it will do. That's going to affect a lot of people in late July and early August. So when people are going to fly and go away, Gatwick is Europe's busiest single runway airport. It is going to be utter chaos. And again, the effect potentially is if everyone decides then to not go away, or it is completely mental, these people might decide never to go away again. They might then decide to take the ferry. They might then decide to just do staycations in the UK. If that means that as a result of that, we see air traffic numbers dwindle, then these people who are striking, they might be out of a job anyway, because they won't be required to move people's bags because there's going to be no one at the airport to move their bags for. So again, it's a be careful what you wish for. Yeah, the R&T is striking, these people are striking, teachers are striking, doctors are striking. Everyone in this country seems to be striking at the moment. And as we've said before, people's tolerance of this is really going to go down. It's not healthy. And, we might end up in a stage where we're just in complete anarchy. And that sounds daft, but these things happened before, and chances are it could quite possibly happen again. I hope not. What I would say for people striking is just be careful what you wish for. I understand you're striking for pay increases and whatnot. Yeah, I get that. But also be careful to not shoot yourself in the foot in the grand scheme of things. That involves treading a very, 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 very fine line. As usual, please like us on YouTube, subscribe to the notification bell thingy below to get notifications of when new videos pop up. I will see you in the next video.